Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here, and today we're going to be doing a special video for the DLC 2 Crown Tundra release. We're going to be discussing a lot of OU Pokemon, as you guys have seen on the channel recently, but this video, it's not only one Pokemon, not two, not three, but four whole Pokemon. We're discussing all of the Tapus in the SSOU post-DLC 2 Crown Tundra metagame. Wow, that is a mouthful. I say it every time, too. I should really abbreviate it somehow. But anyway, my personal crisis aside, we're going to be discussing Tapu LELE, Tapu BULU, Tapu KOKO, and Tapu FINI in this video. The four strong fairy types that are going to absolutely impact the metagame, probably shape it for the better, hopefully, maybe a bit more offensive of an outlook. But regardless of that, I'm really curious to see what you guys have to see in these Pokemon. So if you guys have any input you want to provide, definitely let me know either on my new Twitter, which the link will be below in the description, or in the comments below, because I love interacting with you guys. But anyway, we're going to be going through some sample sets and other options for all of them. I'm not going to be touching on checks and encounters, all of them. I might try and mention a couple when I'm describing the Pokemon, but ultimately I feel as if that'd be just way too much for one video. So if you have any questions about what might check and counter them, also let me know in the comment section below. We're just going to be going over sample sets so you could try these bad boys out come day one. So feel free, and I'm going to leave the imports below in the movie description, so you can just copy paste them and put them on your team's day one and try them out for sure. But anyway, first and foremost, there's Tapu LELE. Tapu LELE is probably the most controversial of the four that will be added to the metagame, and that's because it gained access to Expanding Force. And Expanding Force is going to be ridiculously strong, guys. It's basically going to be an 80, I believe it's an 80 base power move that's boosted by 1.5 times power and Psychic Drain. Couple that already with all the boosted Tapu LELE gets, and off specs, I mean, it's already 130 base special attack, guys. And I mean, just to put it all in perspective, like, it has a good chance to 2-KO Blissey from full health with a special move. Choice Specs Expanding Force. Like, can you imagine how strong that is? I mean, it's going to be 2-KOing resists regularly, like Latios, for example, can 2-KO that. Moonblast is going to absolutely be great complementary stab hitting dark types and also psychic types for neutral, for super effective and neutral damage respectively. Yeah, Focus Blast is great for steel types like Heatran as well, which can at least check the stabs decently. And also Thunderbolt, it's hitting the psychic fly, the steel flying types such as Skarmory, Corviknight, and Celesteela, which are now all going to be in the metagame. So overall, I think this is like a complete powerhouse set. It's going to be hitting everything really hard. There are going to be no true counters to this set, and I honestly think I wouldn't be shocked if it broke Tapu LELE in the current metagame. I think it's going to be really strong. There are going to be ways to revenge kill it. There are going to be ways to like soft check it, but nothing's going to truly counter it. Expanding Force is just unmatched power in this current metagame, and I'm really curious to see if you guys think, is this going to be too much for OU? Is it going to be really fun and it's going to be a good addition to the tier? Or is it going to be underwhelming? I personally think it might be too much. I think it's going to be really strong, but I'm really excited to try it out. I really want to try it out myself. I'd probably going to be one of the first Pokemon to use in the channel. I'm just, spoiler alert. And I really want to see how, what I can kill with an Expanding Force, basically. I mean, this is basically Indeedee with better typing and better stats, stronger. It's just like Indeedee on like so many different types of steroids right now, if you will. It has all the coverage it needs, and that's just really fantastic. It's kind of one of the most complete breakers that OU might ever see. So that's really cool. Next up, we have Choice Scarf Tapu LELE, which it's going to sacrifice some of that breaking power, so it's going to struggle to break things like Blissey and Heatran, but it's going to gain speed, which is going to be super important in such a turbulent metagame that we're going to be playing in right now. Expanding Force is still going to hit like an absolute truck. Moonblast gives, again, great complementary coverage. Shadow Ball this time around for things like Aegislash, things like Jirachi, which I honestly could see using Shadow Ball on the spec set as well, as Expanding Force will probably be able to nuke things like Skarmory, and honestly physically defensive Corviknight as well, but especially defensive Corviknight, you don't want to be walled by that, so you can kind of pick your check, pick your counter, I guess. Fair enough. But anyway, your Shadow Ball is also a great option here. You potentially even drop Focus Blast. You don't want to, rely on hitting Focus Blast in Heatran or Ferrothorn and just try and nuke them down with Expanding Force over the course of the game. But yeah, you can run Shadow Ball plus Thunderbolt on specs. I definitely wouldn't run Thunderbolt on Scarf, though. It's going to not even 2-KO things like especially defensive Corviknight and Celesteela. And so at this point, without the specs, you kind of lose its effectiveness. So yeah, I'd say that more it's kind of exchangeable. Shadow Ball is exchangeable with Focus Blast and Thunderbolt in this set. And this set, you kind of want to keep the moves as is. But yeah, no, Scarf LELE is going to be a nice revenge killer. It's going to hit super hard, and it's going to be quite fast as is, so that's pretty great. Next up, we have a non-choice one, Odd Incense. It actually boosts psychic moves. There's no Mind Plate in this game, so yeah, keep that in mind. Actually, I guess you could run Twisted Spoon as well. Is that an item? Yeah, you know what? We'll give Twisted Spoon. That's more cool. And yeah, Expanding Force again, taunt for things like Blissey, like Heatran, why not? And then Moonblast and Focus Blast. The best complementary moves you could get. This set's probably not going to be as good as the choice sets, in all honesty. You just prefer to hit as hard as you can with something like Tapu LELE this generation, and that'll really do the trick. But with that said, I think it'll still be promising, and I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about it. So yeah, maybe the non-choice set can help it predict around fighting type, dark types a bit better. We'll have to wait and see. I just want to make sure this is working. Yeah, no, check out Glitch X City, by the way, guys. Absolutely great music that they have in their channel. I'm personally listening to the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Route 228, a lo-fi remix. I really love this. There's also one for Tundra City that I love. Overall, I love the Gen 4 remixes. But anyway, yeah, there's also some other options for Tapu LELE as well. Nature's Madness is really cool to chip things down. You could run that potentially in conjunction with Taunt on a more finesse-oriented set. You run Calm Mind because if you're not strong enough, you get even stronger. But personally, that might be a bit greedy. Side Shot could also be great to run on choice sets as well if you want to hit things like Chansey and Blissey a bit harder. And also have a move that hits hard outside of terrain, although it really hits in the physical end, so it's similarly strong, I guess. But, like, you know what I mean. Secondary stab, why not? You could even run Psychic potentially, and then Fling if you don't want to be locked into an item, choice item specific matchups. I think it'd be pretty cool. It's kind of like a really teched out move, but why the hell not run Fling on Tapu LELE? If you're Scarf, you don't need to speed one game, you just want to break, then sure. Might as well go for that. But yeah, these are really, it doesn't really have many other options. I mean, I've seen people run like Heal Bell and aromatherapy on it before. Just, heal up teammates in really specific scenarios, but I don't love that prospect personally. You could also run Screens, I guess, or a status move like Toxic, but I think at this point you just kind of want to be breaking. So, yeah, no, you're just going to use Tapu LELE to do as much damage as you possibly can, and that'll do the trick. But next up we have Tapu BULU. That's gonna be the next big Pokemon we're discussing. Sorry, it gains access to Grassy Surge. Well, it didn't gain it. Oh, so let's pretend I didn't say anything on Tapu BULU yet. So I've been distracted by the fact that this nature didn't save. Okay, it should have saved now. Yeah, it saved now. Okay. So now we're starting on Tapu BULU. It has access to Grassy Glide this generation, which is really cool. With Grassy Surge ability that had the last generation, and Grassy Terrain, it's going to be a strong move that has priority. Kind of Rillaboom-esque, if you will, but instead of kind of hitting the same as Rillaboom with knockoff and U-turn, it has a secondary stab with Play Rough and a Fairy typing, which is cool for some things like fighting types and dragon types and dark types, but it's less good against, say, poison and steel types. You gotta be careful, but also against close combat, which is definitely a leg up from superpowers, so it's a trade-off. You're a little bit stronger, similar natural bulk, and a little bit slower, but you have access to close combat and Play Rough instead of U-turn and knockoff. Personally, I think Rillaboom will be the better choice user. Honestly, I do. I think that Tapu BULU will have a lot of viability, though, be it with Choice Band or with other sets. For example, it can run a Life Orb Sword Stance set with Close Combat and Play Rough, which I think might be a little better than Rillaboom set, honestly. Close Combat's better than Superpower because it doesn't drop your attack, and Play Rough is really great coverage, hitting things like Latios, Dragapult on the switch-in. Yeah, I know Knockoff did the same, but Knockoff, it isn't as strong. It doesn't have as many mid-ground options. It doesn't hit the bulky grass types as hard. So, for example, Play Rough into Tangrowth at +2 to a kill it. Although if it runs Sludge Bomb, you got to be careful of that. It's going to knock you out. But, yeah, no, it's going to go a long way towards solidifying Tapu BULU's place in this metagame, I feel. This set might be my favorite of the bunch as of right now. And, yeah, there's also the option to run Assault Vest set, which I think definitely will be something BULU can do better than... BULU can do better than Rillaboom, and it's going to help with changing terrain against things like Tapu LELE, Tapu KOKO, and kind of being able to soft check them. Also good against Elati, so I think this set might actually beat Bread and Butter. Stone Edge is going to be really great for things like Moltres, Zapdos, Tornadus T. Grassy Glide is going to be really strong. And you don't need like Woodhammer because of that. It's great. Close Combat's going to be good coverage, hitting things like Ferrothorn and Heatran. And last but not least, Play Rough again is going to be great for Dragapult and Latios. And I think that's going to be great. Personally, I'm going to be trying out Assault Vest BULU a lot in early metagame. I think it's going to be a nice, like, soft utility check to a ton of things. I don't know if I'll go with this spread or more especially defensive one, but I think that offers a ton of utility. Yeah, this personal spread outruns things like Slow Calm All, Max Speed Tyranitar, Modest Magnezone, and Neutral Speed Nature Aegislash. Yeah, and it's a really good speed tier. It also outruns Adamant Crawdon, so I think it can do a lot. It actually is a good answer to Crawdon if we still see any in the next metagame with Psychic Drain and Latis and all these Pokemon like kind of overwhelm it. But yeah, no, that's helpful. It also is checked by Finny, so... Sorry, so yeah, honestly, Crawdon's can be seeing worse days, but that's not for this video. There's also some other options. You can run a bulk up set with Horn Leech, with kind of more finesse a la last generation. A Leech Seed variant might be cool. And last, but certainly not least, Mega Horn hit grass types like Amoonguss for neutral damage and Tangrowth for super effective damage can go a long way as well. So I'm curious to see how that'll pan out too. So yeah, that's Tapu BULU, which is going to be a really promising option in the current metagame, I feel, or in the future metagame, I feel, rather. But next up, we have Tapu KOKO, which gained access to Rising Voltage. That's going to hit like an absolute truck, in my opinion. It's going to just demolish things. It has a 2x multiplier, unlike the 1.5 times multiplier from Expanding Force. But on the flip side, it's going to still, it's going to hit off of less special attack, of course. Sorry, I gotta stop for 1 second, guys. But yeah, Tapu KOKO is gonna be absolutely great. Just pausing for a second. But yeah, okay, sorry about that. I hope you didn't notice that. It was like a 1 second. I just had something pop up on the side of my screen. My computer's having issues. But yeah, so Rising Voltage is gonna hit like a truck. It has Dazzling Gleam as complementary coverage in the special end if you want to run a full special pivot. And you can run U-turn for ground types, just to pivot in and out of them. Kind of like it did last generation on the pivot set. So yeah, that's really cool. I think Magnet's cool, but Shuckleberry might also be cool. Begin Shuckleberry, if you want to run a Calm Mind set, I think that can go a long way. You want to set up in the face of a Landorus T, or Calm Mind and a Landorus T comes in, Dazzling Gleam to kill it. That's cool. And also, it makes it you're a bit more free against guard time because Gleam's not going to kill it in one shot. But yeah, no, I think this set's going to be an absolute powerhouse. The main issue is Ferrothorn, Assault Vest, Tangrowth, Amoonguss kind of Pokemon will do pretty well against it. And it's also definitely susceptible to revenge killing, so you got to be careful. But overall, I think it's to be pretty promising. However, though, there's more. You gained access to Play Rough and Close Combat, and also as Brave Breed. You can run like a physical or mix set. I'll get into more in physical sets and other options, but I think like an all-out attacking mix set could be pretty cool. You can run Play Rough over Dazzling Gleam and then pump some attack, but I like Dazzling Gleam again to things like Rocky on the Tangrowth. Although Rising Voltage honestly might just completely demolish. Rising Voltage definitely demolished. Play Rough might be better to hit Latios and Latios for a one shot with attack investment, but I'm not gonna speak to it. I don't know how to calcs yet, but I think a mix set's cool because close combat's gonna hit things like Tran, more importantly like Ferrothorn, which Rising Voltage can't hit, and then you get the Rising Voltage plus Gleam coverage, which is really cool. Gleam I mainly liked over Play Rough because it is Landorus T harder, but yeah, maybe it could work the other way around. Either way, though, I think this set might be the best kind of set you'll be seeing in Tapu KOKO, kind of a mixed breaker with Roost. Something that's different from the way it was used last generation, but definitely take advantage of the boosted strength from the Rising Voltage. So yeah, I think that's going to be really cool when it comes to Tapu KOKO. It's going to absolutely decimate things that you'll see in the metagame. Other options, again, you can run fully physical with Wild Charge, or even mixed with like Play Rough, for example. Grass Knot's going to be great for things like Hippowdon and Gastrodon, which can easily shrug off a Rising Voltage because of immunity. And then Volt Switch can be used on a fully special or choice spec set over the aforementioned U-turn. Just in case you don't mind like ground types, if you hit them with Dazzling Gleam or Grass Knot. So yeah, there are a lot of options there, I'd say. You could even run, some status moves. You could run screens, taunt. There are other ways as well. I kept it to 4 other options. So yeah, but Tapu KOKO is a very versatile and overwhelmingly strong Pokemon in my opinion. And it's going to go quite a long way towards breaking through things in this tier, I feel. And last, but certainly not least, actually just getting very much least, is Tapu FINI, which is by far the least affected of the 4 Tapus this generation. It didn't gain much at all. I think it has like Dranicus and Stored Power, but Calm Mind sets really aren't worth using anyway over Primarina in my opinion. And also, it's just kind of underwhelming. Like, it doesn't have the flash, it doesn't have the pizzazz, it doesn't have the sexy factor that all these other Pokemon that gained new tools and have so much strength going for it. I feel like Fini is just going to be an okay utility Pokemon. They'll probably stay OU by usage, but it might start in like UU, for example. I don't know. No one's really going to use it to start. It's just kind of like the one Game Freak kind of forgot about. I don't love that because there's a ton of potential typing wise. I love the Water plus Fire typing in Misty Terrain. It does offer a lot. I guess on the bright side, it can still run the defog sets. There's a specially defensive set, and also to top it off, a physically defensive set. Both offer a ton. I think that Scald is kind of going to be mandatory in specially defensive set to things like Tran and Volcarona, whereas you could probably get away with Moonblast plus Nature's Madness in the physically defensive set, but you could really interchange the 3 moves, Moonblast, Scald, and Nature's Madness. As long as you have 1 to 2 attacks, Moonblast and Scald, kills things after Nature Madness. That's really what matters. And then Taunt and Defog being next 2 moves. You could even drop Taunt for something that we'll get to in the other options set that I forgot to label, my bad. But yeah, that aside, it's cool. There's also the Trapper set with Whirlpool, Moonblast, Scald, and Nature's Madness as well. You run 1 more speed in this, just outrun things. But yeah, no, you could Whirlpool something like a Toxapex coming in, or even a non-power with Ferrothorn, or whatever have you, and then eventually just take them down between Nature's Madness and Moonblast with Taunt. That can go a long way there, so that's cool. But yeah, no, all things considered, Fini, it's just kind of like that awkward, like, last child the parents didn't really want to have, but they kind of had it, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's there, that's cool, I guess we'll kind of support it, but not like as much as the others. Awkward, but yeah, that's how it be sometimes, and that's fine. And as for some other options, Knockoff can be cool for item displays if you want to replace Taunt. Even like a Trick Choice Specs or Choice Scarf set, because why the hell not? It gets that. And then Hydro Pump and Surf are other options if you want to hit harder and not kind of fool around just trying to Scald Burn when your own Misty Terrain is up. So yeah, I think that's completely fair. Hydro Pump in particular would work on the trick sets with like more offensive ones, and Surf on the more finesse sets. It depends on what Calc, Surf, and Scald get, because you could still Scald Burn some things that aren't like on the ground, like for example Landorus, Latios, Tornadus T, etc. Or if Terrain runs out for some reason you're still in, and you can burn Toxapex. That comes into play a lot. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on Fini. Personally, if I had to rank these in order, it'd be in this order. It'd be Tapu LELE, then Tapu BULU, then Tapu KOKO, and then a huge gap in the Tapu FINI. I think these three are going to be great. KOKO is probably going to be better than BULU, honestly. I take that back. See, I put KOKO second, and BULU, because it faces competition with Rillaboom, that's the issue, but overall, BULU is going to be a better Pokemon than FINI still. But yeah, no, I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say on all four of the Tapus. I think they're going to play a great role in this metagame, and I'm really curious to see how everything unfolds. So be sure to check them out, guys. Thank you so much for watching these videos. More are going to be coming. But yeah, have a great day. Be sure to check out the Twitter, check out the Discord, check out my YouTube channel with a subscription, and have a great day, guys. All right, peace.